Everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm joined by TV's Frank Conniff from Mystery Science Theater 3000 and Cinematic Titanic, now on Hulu. And coming to a city near you, St. Charles, right outside of St. Louis, and
Royal Oaks, right
Michigan.
Outside of Detroit.
That's where that...
We're hoping to break into the cities eventually.
Yes. That Cusack movie was set in Royal Oak.
Which one?
No, that was, again, I'm thinking Grosse Point Blank. Wasn't it in Royal Oak? I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
Okay. So what I want to talk about today, I was watching the Sunday news shows. I like to watch the Sunday news shows because I like to hear rich millionaires talk about the week's events. And
Yes.
so I was watching David Gregory, and he was introducing something. Well, look who he wanted to quote. Somebody wrote an op-ed in the New York Times, and here's what he had to say about it.
Liz Cheney, the daughter of the former vice president, launched a very serious attack that indeed Governor Romney amplified on, and she wrote in the Wall Street Journal. I want to show it to our viewers and get discussion about it here.
Wow, Liz Cheney wrote something in the Wall Street Journal. That's weird because the Bush twins just gave a critique of Iran in Tiger Beat. What?
And you know the gravity he gives it when he says Liz Cheney, the former vice president's daughter. Like that's a big deal.
Yes.
You know.
The former vice president's daughter's prom date said this. It's unbelievable. Hey, you know what? If you're going to have, first of all, it's great that there's a Cheney on your show to talk about foreign policy. Oh boy, you know, those foreign policy experts that the Cheneys are. Hey, if you're going to have a Cheney, and let me just say this to Dick Gregory or whoever his name is, if you're going to have a Cheney on to discuss foreign policy, why not have a Kardashian on to talk about intellectual curiosity? Okay, here she is. Let's hear what she had to say.
In too many parts of the world, she writes, America is no longer viewed as a reliable ally or an enemy to be feared, nor do our adversaries any longer fear us. Ask the mobs in Cairo who attacked our embassy, or the Libyan mobs who killed our diplomats at the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. Ask the Iranians who make unhindered daily progress toward obtaining a nuclear weapon.
So it's just another concerted effort to try to undermine the president's, even though he's just following Bush's foreign policy almost to the letter, even more of a military-industrial complex tool, Barack Obama. But so this is just, and let's remember that under, yes, they're not afraid of us enough. That's the problem.
Because that worked out so well
That
before.
worked out so well.
When we showed our great strength and our force.
Yes.
That was mission accomplished right there.
Oh, no doubt about it. We killed 1 million of their people in Iraq, but they're still not afraid of us enough, and that's the problem. They're just not afraid of us. And just remember that under Liz Cheney administration, the terrorists would be really scared of us, and we'd be at war with Iran.
Exactly, because of the situation with Iran that we're in, because of the Iraq War.
Okay.
The precariousness of it is all from that.
Now let's switch over, Frank, to this week with George Snuffleupagus, and one of my favorite guys was sitting in against Jake Tapper was sitting in. And by the way, Jake Tapper, how do you go into news and not porn with that name, right? Huh? Jake Tapper. Oh, come on.
Have you seen his one-man show, I'd Like to Tap That Ass?
Yes. Yes, I have seen that show. Yes, Jake Tapper. You know, when he was born, they were like, "You want him circumcised? You're not touching that thing." Jake Tapper. All right. So here was.
Forget it, Jake Tapper. It's Chinatown. I'm sorry. Go
It's okay. So here is how they introduced. Here's the beginning to this week with George Snuffleupagus' show. Here we go.
From ABC News, this week with George Stephanopoulos. It's your voice, your vote.
It's my voice.
Wow.
And really?
I'm glad to hear they're finally advocating on behalf of the people.
Yeah,
That's
the
awesome.
people, the regular working Joe Stiffs guys, progressives. It's my voice. Let's see who's going to be giving my voice a voice, actually.
Plus, full debate and analysis of the political fallout on our Powerhouse Roundtable with George Will, Jonathan Karl, General Wesley Clark, Gwen Ifill of PBS, and Liz Cheney from Fox News.
Wow.
Right, so we got a conservative columnist right? And George Will. Then we've got Jonathan Karl. We've got a conservative newsman. Then we've got Gwen Ifill. We have a corporate stenographer who works for PBS.
Right.
Right. And then you have Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney.
And General Wesley Clark.
I can't think of anything more representative of. That's like a village people of the populace, right there.
It really is. You get
conservative, a conservative, a conservative, and a conservative.
And a conservative, and a guy from the military.
Yes.
So it's like, where did you get the cross-section of this roundtable from? You go to GOPAC convention? It's unbelievable, right? So that's their panel. And Liz Cheney ends up on there
yeah,
again.
she's on those shows all the time.
You know what? She is the daughter of a war criminal, so you got to get her on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here is Jonathan Karl.
Why don't they have Sissy Pol Pot on? His daughter. I
Pol
don't know
Pot's
if that's his daughter's name.
Probably Sissy. Sissy. It sounded like you were impugning Pol Pot's sexuality.
No, I mean
Not
his
calling-
daughter.
I know what you were
and
doing.
he had 2 other kids, Buffy and Jody. But
Yeah, Buffy and Jody Pol Pot.
Yes.
That's how you get. Okay, so here's Jonathan Karl talking to the man from the Pentagon, Wesley Clark, and he's making the point that the Democrats really were trying to spike the football a little bit too much over the killing of Osama bin Laden, and here's what he had to say about it. Here we go.
And he did it against the advice.
Are you at all uncomfortable, though, with how political that became? I mean, at the national political convention, this military operation is used as a political talking point over and over again.
But here's the
vice
thing,
president talking
Jonathan.
about putting him on bumper
We've had
See, Jonathan Karl, that's a good point, because I remember how he was all pissed off how George Bush kept bringing up 9/11. Remember that? Remember how he kept calling him out? George Bush ran so hard on 9/11, you would think he prevented it. Unbelievable. And he's upset that an accomplishment in foreign policy, you actually get to talk about it at your convention.
Maybe he misses the subtle nuance of George Bush's approach to 9/11.
Yeah, George Bush, yes, you're talking about the nuanced position George Bush had.
And just that he wouldn't, he did really laid back things like the mission accomplished banner before any mission was accomplished anywhere.
Yeah, before the mission barely started, he had accomplished it. Yeah, I know what you're saying. So,
if Bush had killed bin Laden, all of these press people would have been in a parade for it.
They would have been readjusting his cod piece for him. Yeah, if George Bush. But George Bush, he did have a nuanced position on the Iraq War. Remember, it was, you're with us or against us. Yeah.
Dead or alive.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it went from dead or alive to, I don't care.
I don't care about him. That's right.
big
Smoke him
deal.
out. I'm going to smoke him out. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's General Wesley Clark's response to Jonathan Karl. Ready? About Jonathan Karl saying you shouldn't really brag too much about killing Osama bin Laden.
since the Vietnam War, the consistent refrain has been, Republicans are the daddy party, Democrats are the mommy party. Republicans are strong, robust, Democrats are soft and weak and want to negotiate, want to apologize. It's simply not true. We're stronger, we're safer. Barack Obama has been a very robust, muscular foreign policy. And as George said earlier, what's happened in the Middle East has lots of factors and lots of causes underneath. It has nothing to do with rhetoric from Washington.
Oh, isn't that great? Mm-hmm. Isn't that great? See that we now the Democrats who are tired of losing on the foreign policy issue to the Republicans have decided to beat them by becoming just like Republicans. Yes. Isn't that nice? So now the American electorate gets a chance to choose when they're choosing a candidate between a guy who's for Republican foreign policy or a guy who's for a Republican foreign policy. Isn't that nice? It's really nice. That's the beauty of democracy in America. It represents all different points of view. That's exactly what he's saying. Now the Democrats have a more robust and muscular foreign policy, AKA we're now assassinating Americans in foreign countries without a trial.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
And I do actually think that was a political calculation on Obama's part.
Yes.
That we're not going to prosecute Bush or Cheney. There's not going to be any trials or anything, because then he would be portrayed by the Republicans as this progressive left-wing guy, and he wouldn't have gotten health care passed or anything like that. So it is a political calculation to be as much like the Republicans in terms of military power and foreign affairs as they can.
Yes, then that's why exactly right why he didn't prosecute the torturers, people who ordered war crimes.
Because then that would have been all his first term would have been about.
It would have been taken up by
Yeah.
that, and then he couldn't get anything done. But the reason he gave Barack Obama for not prosecuting the torturers was he said all those crimes happened in the past,
Right.
and Barack Obama's looking towards the future. And when I heard that, I felt a lot better, because all the crimes I've committed, they're in the past too. I'm so glad we're not prosecuting those crimes. I bet you those people in prison aren't pissed off they committed their crimes in the future.
Also, but I
criminals.
have a feeling though that the people who died as a result of those crimes committed in the past are still dead.
Yes, that's right.
So
they are still
that's
dead.
kind of a moot point.
So we have time to go back and prosecute. That's the beauty. They'll always be dead. Okay.